I'm going to start with a couple of sheets of A4 card, and the first piece that I'm going to cut is going to be 7" by 6". So 7 by 6 for the first one. I then need 2 pieces of 6 by 6. Switch to my guillotine for that. I only use the other one because I can measure better on the bigger sheets, but this gives me a much cleaner cut. So 6 by 6, and I want 2 of these. That was being lucky there, and was going to clearly can't add up in my head. I was going to get it all out of one sheet of paper. So I've got 2 6 by 6s and 1 6 by 7. Next up, I want 2 5 by 5s. So I'll just see if I can use some of these scraps. Two 5 by 5s, and my final one is a 6 by 4. What's that going to be? Oh yeah, we can use it out of this. So 1 6 by 4, 2 5 by 5s, 2 6 by 6, and 1 6 by 7. So I've just attempted to lower the camera slightly so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to score these sheets. So I'll just move them to the side and I'll get my scoreboard. So along the 6" side, put my teeth in. 6" side, she says. Yeah. And I'm going to score it at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 3 3/4, and 5. Just going to fold them over. Nice scored fold. Actually, I'll glue these as I go along, and then these can be drying. So on the section that's the narrowest, I'm going to put my glue. Now my little precision glue tube, is that the right word, is currently drying out because my daughter left the lid off of it. So I'm probably going to get this absolutely everywhere using a big thick nozzle, but we'll give it a go. So I'm just going to bob a little bit of glue down the edge. I am going to get it everywhere, so I'll use my finger, otherwise that's all going to squidge out. Fold that in, and then I should just be able to fold that in half and it should meet quite nicely. I've got a selection of nicely coloured rocks that my daughter's made for me that I use as paperweight, so I'm just going to put that to one side with a rock on to dry. Next up, I am going to take my 6 by 6 pieces. So we've got 2 of them, remember, and again I'm going to go 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 3 3/4, and 5. Glue this as we go along. again under another rock, and do it in my third piece. So 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 3 3/4, and 5. Again, a bit of glue on this shorter piece here. Shorter, that's the wrong word, narrower. And again, just put that to one side to dry. Next up, I'm actually going to take my smallest piece. I'm going to take my 6x4, so make sure I've got my 6-inch long side at the top, and I'm going to do the same again. So 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 3 3/4, and 5. And the reason that I've skipped the other two is I'm going to do them slightly different. So we'll get the easier ones out the way first. Wipe my fingers. And then again, off to one side. So with the two 5x5s, we're going to score the same. So we're going to score at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and 3 3/4. And we'll do that on them both. So 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 3 3/4. Then we're going to spin them, and we're going to score in these middle two panels every 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to just count my my grooves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go down that one lightly, but then I want to really score these middle two. And there is a method to my madness, so just bear with me on this one. And do that exactly the same on the other card, on the other piece of card. So every 5/8. And this is going to create that lovely dimension on them two outer panels. And the reason that I don't have the flap on these ones is because I can't count and talk, 1 minute. The reason that I don't have the outer flap to fasten it together is because we don't actually need it. We're going to use double-sided tape in the middle, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. So if we fold that in half and score it, and same with this one. And then we're going to cut up these grooves that we've just done. I actually want them the other way because I like to cut up the valleys and not up the mountains. And we're just going to cut up to the groove line that we've created. I don't turn the light on because you get a massive glare when I switch the light on. I'm just having to face it near the window because I can't see where the grooves are. There we go. And do the same on this one. So I'm just going to turn it around so I'm in my valleys. And again, cut up each of these. Just going to move my scoreboard out of the way because we're going to put some pattern paper on these before we do anything else. So I've got this lovely pattern paper which is from a really old Hunky Dory paper pad. I don't know if they still make this or not. It's a Hunky Dory Foxy and Friends. I think I probably got it during lockdown, so I think it is an old one. And these paper panels are 1 inch by 4 3/4, and I've got 4 of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on these panels here. So the postman's actually been, so we've got a new precision glue, so we'll give it a go. Maybe we won't. Maybe we need the bigger one. Right, I think that should work now. I hadn't taken the bit off the end. Yeah, there we go. Much better. And I'm just going to pop that on this panel here. No, I'm not, that's not the side I want. I want it on the other side. I need to make another one of them. Same with this one. And we'll just quickly make another panel. So, like I said, it's 1 inch by 4 3/4. We'll just put that panel on there. So next up, what we're going to do is on every one of these, I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape. So we'll start there. And this is why you didn't need that extra flap to glue it together, because this is going to hold it together quite nicely. I'm going to put a piece of acetate down the other side. Oh gosh, I've missed a piece there, haven't I? Tell you what, I'll just cut another one and we'll leave that there for now. Oh, another 2. I'll do it right on this one and show you on this one, and then I'll deal with that one in a moment. So it should be on every other panel like that. If you pull the backing off. And then just fold it in on itself. Oh, I haven't scored these, have I? If you score them first, just fold it back on itself first, and then it will be easier. Oh, I'm having a nightmare. There we go. and fold this one onto the tape as well, like that. Just grab my, oh, where's my foam folder gone? Put that to one side a minute while I deal with this one. See if I can get these bits of tape off. Doesn't actually matter because they're on the inside, so if I do make a bit off there. So that one wants to be on there. Just straighten that back up. And this one here wants to be another one down as well, doesn't it? That's what happens when I talk. I can't do two things at once. There we go. Right. Fold them over first. I won't make that mistake again. And this one, fold it that way. Right. Now we'll try again. So peel off this backing tape. And then fold them in on each other. And there should just be every other one stuck. So they should then start to pop out. Like that. Now, don't want to worry that you've got a gap here without having that flap, because when it's together, it will be stuck onto the other panels, so you won't even notice. So don't worry about that. If we were to use that panel, you would find that it'd be quite difficult when it comes to the construction. So I ended up before with, when I tried to do it with a panel, this is one that I made earlier, I ended up with my fold here, so it's just easier without. So the next part is optional, but we're going to put a piece of acetate down here and here. And the reason for this is that when it pops out, when you take it out of the envelope, it's quite squished. And I found that it pops out much better if it's got that bit of acetate in there, you can see. Now to do this, the easiest way that I found, I've cut 4 pieces of acetate, and these are 1 inch by 4 1/4 inch. And then the easiest way that I've found to do it is if we just put the double-sided tape on the actual acetate itself, roughly where the panels are. So if we just lay it flat, lay your acetate on it, and then it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just to hold it in place once it's there. And one of you lovely people may find a much, much easier way of doing this, in which case go for it. Just going to take that backing off. I've managed to get that bit over. I'm just going to fold that back on itself because I want the sticky on the acetate, otherwise it will stick together inside and then you won't actually open it up. And then if you lay it on the bit inside that you want it on, just like so, and again fold it back on itself. There we go, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I've got my acetate, my double-sided tapes, and the sun's gone in. Has it gone a bit dark? Oh, you're all right still. Oh, and the dog's decided that he's trying to come in the door as well. Wonderful. The minute that he comes in, I'll want to go back out so he can sit in the garden. He's laid in the sun. And again, just make sure that's on the acetate and not hanging over the edge. And I'm going to lay that inside that panel that I want it to, inside the side I want it to be on, and lay them flat. And then that should pop out like that. So I'm just going to bob that to one side and we'll deal with the other one. I can't find where I've cut my tape now. Cut it on and stuck it to the other side of the desk. So again, just check your size first. That's perfect. Make sure I'm actually missing a panel this time, unlike when I was sticking it down inside. Oh, I'm going to have to let the dog in. He's now decided to cry as well. Just one moment. Right, peel off the backing. Now all you're going to hear is tippy tappy of toes. Go sit down. Good boy. So again, I'm going to lay it on that panel and squish it back on itself. And then final piece. And then peel off that backing. And then again, lay it on the part that I want it on and fold it back on itself. And then that should pop back out again. Right, so we'll get making the actual card itself now. So you should find that you've got some nice square panels. You're going to take your biggest one, so you want your 7-inch one, and I'm going to lay that flat and take my two. How have I got that dirty? It's only been laid there. Right, put some glue on these anyway. So I want that seam at the back, so lay that flat, and then I'm going to make sure that it's up to this crease in the middle. Lay that one down. I think I'll use the dirty panel here to glue, so yeah. And again, flick that over, up to that seam in the middle, and squish them down. So with these ones, you want it so that your two see-through panels are pointing away from where they're going to, away from the middle. So they're going to glue like that. And this is where we found that if we had the flap, we ended up with the flap at the front, or the wrong way around, or the only way to do it with the flap hook was you had them different. So it's just easier without the flap is what I'm trying to say. So again, I'm going to glue it down, and it doesn't matter that you've got that gap because you're not going to see it. So stick some glue on, spread it out, and again up to that seam in the middle, just line it up at the bottom. And then with this final piece, I want the seam at the back. So I'm going to glue on these two. Because this is going to fit in that gap there. They've just moved slightly, so I'm just going to squidge them back in. Like so. And then...
I don't know that.
Oh, and Alexa's joining in, wonderful. Husband's interrupted to see if he can put some washing in, and Alexa wants to card make too. So we'll squish that down again, rock on to hold it, just till that glue's dry, and we'll set about cutting some patterned paper. So the glue's dry and I've cut myself some patterned paper. So I have got two 1x3 3/4. This is actually the one that I glued the wrong way, so we'll use this one first. And these are going to go on these two panels here. It's got a bit dark, is that? I've got a shadow now, haven't I? I'm going to go to these ones here next, and these ones are 1 inch by, oh no they're not, hang on, that's different. This should be 5 3/4, I believe. What have I done here? Right, these are 5 3/4. Yes. Don't know what I've done there, I've got some extra bits. Clearly can't add up. I think I must have cut for these ones, which we don't need. So 1 inch by 5 3/4 on this panel here. And the same on the other side. And then these are all 1 inch by 3/4. And I think I might use the other side of the paper for these. So we'll use what's inside that panel there, I think. So make sure I glue it on the right way. And last two. Then we get to the fun bit, we get to the decorating bit. And that's our dimensional card base all made. Stands up quite nicely. So I'm not happy with these blue panels, so I have cut some paper which is 1 inch by 3/5, and I'm going to bob these on each individual little panel here. Don't have to do this, you could put some enamel dots or something on it. I just feel that it just needed something else. I'm going to decorate it and the rest of the card anyway, so I don't want it massively busy, but I just feel that it just, maybe if I'd used a brighter card, it'd have been okay, but I wasn't happy, so now's the time to do something about it. And I'm also going to bob one on this panel here. Again, just because it's a little bit too blue, but I'm going to use the other side of this one on that one. This one on that one, I know what I'm trying to say. Just break it up a little bit because that's got the same pattern above and below it otherwise. There we go. And we'll do the same on this side. This is such an easy card to make, and I think it looks incredibly difficult. It looks quite elaborate, so it's got definitely got the wow factor. And just the other side of this for that last bit inside. There we go. So I've got some images which I've stamped, coloured and die cut out, which are from a Papercraft Society box. I believe it was made, I believe the company was Made to Surprise. Just bear with me a minute. Yeah, and it's a really old box. It was box number 10. So these have been stamped, coloured in with Copics, die cut out, and then my paper was a little bit thin, so I've die cut a piece of card and stuck them onto the back just to give them a little bit of stability when they're stuck together. I'm going to stick the bow on using a bit of foam tape, I think. Again, just, no, I'm not actually. I'm just going to glue this on because I think there's probably enough dimension already in the card. So just glue that on there. Put that to one side to dry. And it's a thank you card, so I have heat embossed a thank you sentiment, and then I've just fussy cut this out, mounted it with some foam tape and fussy cut around it again in a different colour. And that sentiment is from Creative Crafts, and oh, this is an old one. This is a Key Worker thank you stamp set. So we're going to put these onto our card. I think I quite fancy my thank you probably on a bit of an angle up there, and this is going to go on the front here. So I'm going to create some panels to put them on. Cut 2 pieces of card which are 3 inch by 1 inch, and I'm going to score these. just score these ones at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, and 2.5. And I think that I've cut that wrong. I think I wanted that to be 3. I did. I'm just going to cut these. These should be 3, not 3.5. And then I'll score this one the same. So, what did I say I was scoring it? Scoring it at 1/2, 1, 2, 2.5. In fact, I'm going to slim one of them down. I'm going to make one of them 1/2 inch because that sentiment is going to stand too far off of it otherwise. Let's just make sure that that will be okay. Yeah, it will. So trim this one down to 1/2 inch. Oh, that's not 1/2 inch, Claire. What are you doing? Line it up with that bit of silver. There we go. So these two want to be in valleys, and these two in mountains. And then I'm going to bob that on the back of there. I think I'm going to use some double-sided tape for this one, which I've just put away. I'll put 2 bits on, I think. Don't want it to fall off when they take it out of the envelope. There we go. And bob that about there. I'm going to bob some double-sided tape on the back of here as well, mainly because my glue doesn't dry quick enough for my liking. I'm a bit too impatient and I don't like it when my stuff's sliding around and I'm trying to position things. So a bit of double-sided tape. Need to clean my scissors, they're a bit sticky. Peel them off. Right, so lay that flat. Where do we want this to be? Certainly want it on this front panel, but whereabouts? I don't want it touching the floor, I don't think. So if we do it about there. And then with the final one, which I'm going to use for the sentiment, I actually was going to put that on a wider tab, but I've used the thinner one in the end. Again, a little bit of double-sided tape on this one. I'm a little bit nervous this sentiment isn't going to work on here, but it's the biggest thank you I can find. And it is, I do need it to be a thank you card, so we'll see what happens. Okay, get the back of this bit. There we go. So I want the sentiment here, I believe. In fact, let's go high up there. We'll go there. And then, so that should, in theory, yeah, that's going to pop out. Okay, we can still put the sentiment at an angle. Do I want it at an angle? No, I think I want it straight, don't I? Let's have a fiddle before I glue that down. Do I want it? Oh, I think I do want it at a bit of an angle actually. I'm just going to peel that up and move that down ever so slightly so that that entire thing's at an angle. This is where I wish I'd used glue and not. There we go, that's better. So I want it in the middle. Squish you down a minute. Don't want it to catch on that. And then I'm going to finish with some glossy accents on here, and I want some of them little dewdrop things as well. So let's just find a rock to hold it flat for now. So I'm going to use my glossy accents on, oh actually I've got some, oh that will look nice. I've got some stickles, which is a little bit like glossy accent, but it's glittery. So let's use that on the back bar. This is where I'm going to come out into it. Just give that a bit of a shake. I don't know when that was last used. Right, try again. So if we use this on the back bar, and that's back bar there. And then that's back bar. And this side here is back bar. And then let's use normal on the middle and the dangly bits at the back. What do I do with the normal one? There we go. So now this one is glossy accents. I love glossy accents. Oh. Give that a bit of a poke, it don't want to play. Oh, I've got glue all over that, hang on a moment. Oh, that ain't gonna work neither. need to clean up as I go along. Right, we'll try that. Is that going to work? Sounds better. At least air's going in now. There we go. There we go. And then let's put some of these dewdrops on. Just gonna try and keep it as flat as I can because I do want them to set. What have I got that's heavy? All my rocks are a little bit big. See how that goes. Right, so we'll have one there, a nice big one there, put a little one on here, bigger one because that's a bit of a bigger blob than I intended. There we go. And a little one up here, I think. And maybe one here. There we go.